Good morning, afternoon, evening, and good night. You know what that's from? It's from the Truly Rotten Potatoes. And this is the podcast. We're here talking about the very, very movie London Fields. I'm Morgan. With me today is Mitch.
Hey.
And Declan.
Hi, everybody. It's so good to be back. It's been so long. It's been months and months.
It's been ages. And we're doing this one live from Declan's clubhouse.
From the Den studio here in Canberra. Can't give any more details because I don't want anyone to know. But we're here and it's been like 6 months or something. We've been really busy. I know I went overseas for a couple of months. I was seeing the sights of the United States. I know Morgan and Hayden have been busy getting ready for Big Reef's premiere. They had a music video that just came out recently. They've got their gigs coming up, so they've been making music. And I know Mitch has gotten into the habit of buying VCRs and old CRT equipment. Tell us about that, Mitch.
Basically, I've sunk about $1,000 into obsolete technology that will get me absolutely nothing back from it. It's been great.
That's amazing, Mitch. I love to hear it. And it's good that everyone's been busy. We do only have 5 or 6 movies left on the list, on the Truly Rotten 0% list that we do this podcast for. And we've just done one more. Hayden's not here. Fuck Hayden. That's what I always say. He's busy at a child's birthday party, which is you just can't get out of sometimes. Anyway, the 3 amigos are back. And we're excited. We've gone back to the list. We've done one of the films. It's from 2018. It's called London Fields. And it turns out that this movie was made a few years earlier. We will talk about it at the end. But it was one of those ones that premiered at like a film festival in Toronto International Film Festival, TIFF, in 2015. And then didn't come out for like 3 more years because there was big problems with the director and the producers and there was lawsuits and it was like, I hate this movie. I don't want to be involved. I don't want a name on it and all this stuff. So we can get into that anyway. But Mitch, Morgan, let's go through the plot briefly of London Fields. What are people in for if they watch London Fields?
Well, I wasn't there for the first 15 minutes. So you guys are going to have to take the reins for the beginning of this.
Oh, yeah. How did this movie open?
The same way it ended, remember? They went back to it and showed the same voiceover and the same scenes.
So, yeah, this movie starts out with some pretentious waffling from Billy Bob Thornton. Just filling it with as many, idioms and word smithing that he can. And we open with Amber Heard in a beautiful silk dress.
On the cobblestone streets of London. In what year?
Well, it seems like it's like the 40s or something like that. But then, I don't know, with the dress, it's apparently we're in modern day or an alternate future. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I don't know if they ever said this, but it looked old school London. London's an old city. It's got a lot of old roads and streets and bars and hotels and stuff. And that's where I'm like, okay, maybe it's the early 1900s here. And then she's wearing a gown that is maybe like a little too modern, Amber Heard is. And then Billy Bob Thornton, who is a writer. He writes books, but he's got a bit of writer's block. He's done a switch where he's come from America and he's switched houses for a few months with a guy who's an English author who's much more successful than him and repeatedly leaves condescending voicemails where he's like, thanks for letting me stay in your shithole in Hell's Kitchen. I'm going to make my character who lives in Hell's Kitchen in my new book way poorer now, thanks to the inspiration of you. And Billy Bob Thornton comes to England to try and get inspiration for his new novel, and that's where he meets Amber Heard. Now, the reason that it threw us off in the timeline is when he gets into this beautiful apartment, because this guy sold millions of books, the guy he's switching with, he clicks the like a voicemail button and like a hologram comes up, and that's like the first message of like, thanks for the swap. But he's doing it in that way where he's like, thanks so much. This is so inspirational that you've let me stay in this shithole. I'm used to staying in such like a beautiful place, but this will really get my creative juices going.
Those holograms, so they are really like a sort of Star Wars Princess Leia.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like blue, exactly the same sort of thing. But I guess that's just to show his wealth. It's just to show that he's on the cutting edge of technology. He can afford this stuff that doesn't exist. necessarily, but it places us and plants us firmly in the modern day.
Yeah, or maybe like slightly in the future. But the other
I
thing
think it's
is,
slightly in the future.
they said early on, like London is in turmoil.
And they said they
it shows
refer to the crisis a lot.
It shows footage of riots and stuff, but it doesn't really say what's going on politically, whether there's wars. Towards the end, it starts to hint that there is a war being waged, but you really don't know if it's just like rioting, if it's one of those like the garbage men are on strike, so the city's fallen into disarray. You really have no idea, and it doesn't really influence most of the movie, which this was a movie, wasn't it, Mitch? This went all the way.
This was by like far and away, like every movie that we start, it's sort of like you get the vibe of what you're in for.
Yeah.
You know, with the Nicolas Cage one, you're like, okay, it's shot sort of like garbage, but they did what they could. But this was like the colors were all beautiful. It was beautifully shot. Amber Heard is shot very hornily, which we'll get into how horny this movie is as we go along. But
yeah, this movie had like real production values.
Yes.
This was like an expensive-ish movie. It had a few kind of movie stars, maybe people now that are more famous for being train wreck-ish than actoring. But
not Amber Heard's first tiff, if you know what I mean.
And it was also like a weird pastiche. It was constantly, there was a lot of voiceover from Billy Bob Thornton, who was the writer, so he was speaking in a very annoying, flowery way, and he was narrating what was going on, and it was always doing like shots of stock footage and like the sun going in front of the moon going in front of the sun, or rain and storms, and then just like a shot of a frog. Like it was one of those ones that was very like, this is what life is, half almost documentary style or something.
And when are we introduced to the fact that there's going to be a murder and that it's going to take place on Guy Fawkes Day?
Oh,
Within
the
first 5 seconds, yeah. So his Billy Bob's opening monologue is over shots of Amber Heard walking along this cobblestone at night towards this car. She's in this beautiful gown. It's really lots of shots of her body, like long booty shots and stuff. And he's saying like, this story is a true story, and it's a story of a murder. And he's really, I got to say, he's really gravelly and like nice and monotone. And it's a murder, and I know the murderer, and I know the murderee. And he's just saying stuff like that. So you're like, okay. And then she walks into this car that's just alone. You don't see who's in the car. She like sits inside it, and she says like, "It's you. It was always you." And so yeah, you know that's how she dies.
In a car with someone.
With someone.
The mystery.
But who could it be?
And it's this non-linear storytelling that really grinds my gears. When are we going to go back to traditional A, B, C, D, all the way up to what? Z, I would say.
2016. I think the story itself has 24 chapters. Like intermittently, it'll cut to Billy Bob Thornton trying to write scenes, and he'll just be like chapter 12. And they all had the worst chapter titles. And there was one time that really threw me in terms of what was real and what wasn't, where Billy Bob Thornton was writing this scene about Amber Heard like on a date with this guy, and it would show him at the computer. He would write, and then he would like delete the line, and it would cut back to the scene of her talking, and she would change what she'd just said. And so you're like, okay, he is writing a fictional version of this, because he's also recording everything she's saying. He's got like microphones in her apartment, and he's using her. We should say she has some sort of clairvoyance.
Yeah, she has always been able to predict death. She predicted her parents' death, a pilot's death who she slept with. I don't know. It seems to be hinting that she may have something to do with it, but
yeah.
So since she was a little kid, 15 minutes into the movie, I arrived and started watching it, and you guys summarized that part for me. You told me that was a very important part of the movie, and then that never happened again. Like we never, it was never even talked about that she had clairvoyant.
It's
things.
more the setup. It shows that she drew pictures of like the plane crash when she was a kid that ended up killing her parents. So it's like she gets almost flashes of what's going to happen, and so this last one is a flash of how she's going to die. And so Billy Bob Thornton realizes that she has this power because he reads this folder that she threw out of all the times she wrote about it. And he basically comes to her and he's like, you're going to die. And she's like, yeah, I guess. And then he's like, I'm a writer and I have no ideas for my new book. And I've always wanted to write a murder book. And I think that I needed to be there for the murder to make it good. And I think if I follow you and write about what happens to you, it'll be my masterpiece. Yeah. So that's like the setup to the whole movie.
But she doesn't have any soothsaying or clairvoyant experiences throughout the rest of the movie, which is not to say that she doesn't have those skills and those abilities. Clearly she does if she's able to predict her own death, which she brings upon herself throughout the whole movie. We can go into that as well. Who are the ensemble cast of characters that we have operating around Amber Heard in this movie as she just sort of seduces everybody in one way or another?
Okay, so we have... we're introduced... Okay, so this is a great scene. Billy Bob goes down to the local pub and meets all the locals. Now, the first person he meets is Jim Sturgis' character, who I guess
Keith Talent?
Keith Talent, that's
Keith,
his name.
the finisher Talent.
Keith Talent. He's always doing the shitty De Niro mouth.
He's doing like 150% Robert De Niro the whole time.
Yeah, but Cockney English kind of low class gangster.
I like darts. I like a good Sheila.
He's always squinting and he's always like he's eating a piece of trash and like, oh, what was that?
He's got Vegemite on his
like,
teeth.
Deep breathing in as well. Just
you know. He's always like sticking his chest out and like readjusting his bone structure.
He's doing a performance and he's on another level and it's not a good level. He's too far. He's taken one step too much.
Yeah.
He's really going like all in, chewing the scenery and playing this low level guy who owes a lot of money to like London gangsters.
It reminded me of, and I don't know if you've seen it, House of Gucci. I watched recently.
Yeah.
And Jared Leto does a performance. So everybody's doing very bad Italian accents. And then Jared Leto comes in and it's like Waluigi. It's just like insane. He's like, hey, what are you going to do with my dress that I make? It is such a nice dress. Like
and he's also
supposed to be
in prosthetics. He's like got a bald cap on. He's like playing a guy who's like 20 years older than his real age.
He's the loser. He's the one that can't do things right. But
Dude, I gotta watch this
so
movie.
it sort of works. But this is exactly what this guy reminded me of. He was doing a different thing. He was in a different movie to everybody else, basically.
So Morgan, you missed this, but Billy Bob Thornton, he's just arrived in London. He meets Keith somehow. Keith is like, let me show you down to the pub, mate. And he introduces him to his friends. And it reminds me a bit of The Matrix when they're just like, this is Dozer and Spy, and just the names and the faces of like people with dreadlocks and all these different cyberpunk people.
Yeah.
But in this, it's just like weird English London working class gangster people.
And instead of having specific duties like, oh, this guy drives the Nebuchadnezzar, this one navigates, and this one, they're all dart players. Everybody in this movie is just they play darts.
So I've written down the monologue he does, and it's almost like he's improvising it, or the writer had a lot of fun with this. And he's just going person by person in this pub, and he goes, all right, this is me mate Thelonious. This is Dean. This is Z-Big. This is Z-Big 2. This is Big Dread. This is Shakespeare. This is Norvis, Fucker, Bonton, Juniper, Pepsi, Pongo, and God.
Norvis? What's Norvis all about?
And then he ends by being like, this is Guy Clinch, who's like a posh guy who's related to either the king or the queen. So he's one of those like side cousin royals, but he's rich and posh.
Now, this guy, we know who he's played by. We won't reveal it right yet, but I imagine a sort of introduction of The Great Gatsby, you know, slow pan in on Leonardo DiCaprio as he's holding a martini in his hand. He turns around and, oh, look, it's him. Do we get that sort of introduction with this character?
Not on Guy Clinch. You just get like a small, he's rich and he's like very like wearing a suit in the pub and he's like jolly old.
Do we see his face? Is there mystery? Is it just like the chin down or something?
He's
or
just like a handsome guy. He's like late 20s, early 30s.
Just a normal guy.
Well put together, well groomed and everything.
Okay. So this actor is probably best known for the Divergent series with Shailene Woodley. And by best known, I mean, I don't know anyone who's seen those movies.
And so that guy, he gets his introduction, but the Leonardo DiCaprio intro you just talked about, that does happen. And that happens to the next person.
Oh, maybe
who walks in.
Who's Guy Clinch? Maybe I thought he was...
He's the rich English guy.
My mistake.
He's the one who has
my mistake.
Lizard Boy.
Think of everything I just said and apply it to this next person.
Okay, so the person that we get the big intro to is the female femme fatale character played by Amber Heard.
Okay, not this one either, but go on.
So she walks into this like dingy London pub with all these ne'er-do-wells, and she's wearing this beautiful like funeral veil, but it does multiple slow motion shots of her walking,
which aren't shot in slow mo.
The smoothest face, like beautiful lighting, and it keeps showing reaction shots of everybody else, including all these dirty, like sweaty London gangsters that are just ogling her as she walks in, sits at the bar. Billy Bob Thornton is watching as well.
Couple guys jacking off in the corner as well.
That does happen basically towards the end, and then she talks to Keith, the sweatiest, grossest guy.
Well, because he's going to get her French cigarettes, because they're like, we don't sell French fags here. Oh, go on then, run along, get a French little diddly dids.
Yeah, it's almost like Snow White walks in and all the disgusting seven dwarfs are like, "Can I take your order, lady? Would you like me to hold your dress for you?"
Now dwarves. That's interesting that you say dwarf at this point in the movie.
Well, we'll get there.
Yeah, okay, we will get there. Let's go linear, because as I said, I hate this non-linear stuff.
So we've got Amber Heard. She gets introduced. Her character's name is Nikki Sixx, and the London Keith guy goes, "Sex?" And she goes, "Six." And he's like, "Oh." So her name isn't Sex, but it definitely conjures that image. And the way that they show her is very male gaze oriented, right?
So this is obviously a fake name. Nobody has the surname Sixx. So we can assume that this woman has some trauma in her life.
And the other thing I pointed out immediately is like, they call her Nick a few times, and Nikki Sixx is quite famously the bass player and the guy who writes all the songs for Motley Crue. So I'm picturing Nikki Sixx, just a heroin addict with black dyed hair, playing bass in Motley Crue every time they're like, "Oi, Nick, will you please date us?" Because everyone's in love with her immediately. And so Keith lights a cigarette for her, and it does all these close-ups and slow-mos of like the cigarette getting lit and her just beautiful smooth face as she's
looking right in the camera.
Yeah, and just all these ones of like her eyes and just very arty, and like whoever's directing this is like in love with Amber Heard. And another person who's in love with Amber Heard shows up in this movie in a minute. But anyway, she lights her cigarette, she smokes it, and then she immediately kind of puts it down and like holds her neck in that way of like, "Oh, something's going wrong." And they're like, "Are you all right, love?" And she's just like, "Oh, I think I got to go." And she just leaves. And we don't know why. And then later on, they act like we should have known why, which is she did have some sort of deja vu like thing about her death in that moment.
Okay.
But it wasn't clear until way later, where they show a line where she says, "I just had a really strange deja vu." And you're like, that wasn't in the scene the first time we saw the scene. But this movie does a lot of showing the same scenes over and over again. And then she walks away.
Well, she locks eyes with Billy Bob.
Yeah.
She's like, they have this connection, and he's like, oh, because, you know, it's his dream woman.
He's in love with her immediately.
Yeah, pretty much everyone's in love with her.
But Keith is the one who makes the first move, which is that when she leaves, he chases after her and just tries to talk to her. And you got to understand, she is like beautiful femme fatale. He is like gross, greasy London Cockney gangster with tattoos. He owes hundreds of thousands of dollars to loan sharks, and he's Robert De Niroing and breathing in heavily the whole time. So he's following her, and like, you'd think she would be creeped out when he's like, "Oh, anyway, love, like how long you been here," or whatever. And
they call me Mr. Fix-It.
Yeah.
I could get any of your pipes running.
Yeah. He actually goes, "They call me a handy Andy. I can fix anything for you," and stuff. And she's like actually completely going along with it. She's like, "Oh, that's nice. Like, I'm not creeped out. I'm not scared. I'm actually giving you the time of day," because it turns out she's very manipulative.
And so she's been to just a funeral. We don't know.
She says it's not someone I know that well.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, the first sign of manipulation is there when she walked into the pub wearing the veil. How long have you not been at the funeral anymore? What, you're just going to wear the veil the whole time? Yeah, this is nice. This is convenient for me, of course.
So we can jump to the character you wanted to talk about, which is Guy Clinch, where you mentioned his home life. He is posh. He is rich. He's married. He's been with his wife for 9 years, and they do have a child. Now, Mitch, tell us about this child.
Well, okay, so as soon as you see him, it's a little kid in a dinosaur costume.
Almost like a Dorothy the dinosaur, like green dinosaur costume.
Full body costume.
But I noticed that his arms weren't moving like a child's would.
Whoa.
So this is from behind. We can't even see his
From behind,
face.
I
You can't
knew
see,
it
you can't see his
immediately.
fingers. It's a
But
full
keep
body.
in mind, we don't just see him standing there. We see him crawling really fast on the ground in
he's
this dinosaur.
crawling around some toys.
You actually just see the back of a dinosaur outfit like scurry along the ground in the background.
So
Yeah,
I-
with the mobility and dexterity of somebody who's been around for a few more years than
Than an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's just
So
like,
Mitch immediately says he jumps in while we're
was
watching
like,
this.
"That's
and he
a
says,
dwarf."
"That's not a kid. That's not a kid." I'm like, "What are you talking about? It's like a kid running around in a dinosaur costume." Then we see his face.
his face, and it's so they've put such heavy like cheeks on him. that is-
Prosthetics.
Yeah, prosthetic cheeks. So his eyes have this like sunken in hole, but they've put
Freckles and
They've put freckles on him, and he just looks like this unhinged.
You know what it reminds me of? In Arrested Development, there's this Spanish soap opera, and it always cuts to this kid. He's meant to be a kid.
Oh, yeah.
He's in a hospital bed, and he's got like
Job's girlfriend Marta is on this soap opera.
yeah, and he's got a bowl cut, and he's got these fake freckles on him, but it's like a 40-year-old playing a kid. That's what it was like.
It was, and it's crazy to look at because you're like, I know why they did it because at one point, what's his name? Keith
has to babysit.
has to babysit him, and he just gives him a cigarette, and the dad's like, oh. Well, he doesn't do anything though. He just lets him have the cigarette.
So this is just to show us that Guy Clinch, the posh guy, his life is not that good, and he can fall in love with Amber Heard as well. So he's got this perfect life, but he's also got this troublesome child that not only runs around in a dinosaur outfit, but he straight up attacks them. Like he punches the dad in the face, and they have helpers to like, which are basically like what you have in a mental hospital that are wearing like a gown, and they grab and just restrain the child when he's going too crazy. But this shows that Guy Clinches, he doesn't love his life either, and his wife is like, "Hey, it's your time to look after our like horrible child," and then he wants to leave and talk to Amber Heard, so he's like, "Keith, can you look after the child?" And Keith is like, "Yeah, I'll do 20 minutes with the kid," and the kid's reading books, and Keith just gives him a porno mag and shows this like naked lady whose breasts are out. He's like, "Look at those. She's a vegetarian." And then Keith is smoking, of course, because everyone smokes in this movie. And the kid puts his hand out as if to be like, "Can I have a smoke?" And Keith is just like, "Oh, you want some?" Yeah, and hands it to him.
Yeah, and the kid does reach out his index and middle finger and takes the cigarette like this, and it's that moment you see the stubbiness of the hands.
Like
Maybe
this
even
is a full-grown adult.
there's a tattoo on the back of one of his hands as well.
Yeah, it was a weird choice, and there are quite a few weird choices. The other one is that every sky in this movie is replaced with a
it's all painted
digital
out.
painted sky, and it's to make it look like everything's stormy, something's coming. It's always like clouds, but they're just very like beautifully rendered and drawn, and it just doesn't match the scene that you're watching. Like you can tell that they've just painted out every sky in this movie.
Well, here's the thing. It gets worse because it starts off quite grey, but then there's a point where you can see how like the and we'll talk about that scene later where he goes onto the roof and it's all blue, but with sunlight coming through. So it's all night sky except for one stream of light from the sun. It's very weird. And then by the end of it, the sky's like fucking purple.
Yeah, and they're doing full like little lightning things in the background, and they're really building towards this storm that's been a coming. But at some point they also say like a nuclear war has started. Like they just say like you hear it on the TV, it just says like nuclear war is breaking out.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really like the characters aren't aware, they're not talking about this, they're not reacting as if you would, as if you knew that everything was over. They're just still having their little interpersonal relationship.
No, we get several shots throughout the movie, almost like drone shots of just random buildings or cars exploding in London. Sometimes you'll see 3 or 4 in quick succession, but we don't know what they're for. We don't see any specific sort of news reports, but we do get breaking news sort of things that just say this is still going on. Just overall, there's still issues in London, whatever those issues are.
Every now and then there's just a shot of like the London cityscape, and there's just like a couple of CGI fires that they've put in near buildings.
Yeah.
We've got another big player in this movie, have we mentioned?
So I was going to say that Keith, just to skip along a little bit, Keith is getting involved with, oh God, what's her name? Amber Heard's character's name?
Nicholas Sixx.
Nicholas Sixx.
Nicholas Sixx.
He's getting involved with Nikki Sixx because he's got a lot of debts. And she's going to be able to help him out getting some money for he thinks he's going to get some sex, but he ends up getting some money because so he owes
gets a lot as well by the end. He gets 60 grand or something.
Well, in that first bar scene is where he's explaining to Billy Bob all the people that he's borrowed from. He's borrowed from a few people. There's an old lady and she's got she's kind of collected twinks around her. She's wearing this gaudy kind of number. And she's just got all these young gay men kind of like cats on her lap. Uh-huh. And so he's just going into all of these crazy characters. And we end up with the craziest character of all.
But so he's done that thing that you're not meant to do, which is you borrow money from one loan shark. And when you've lost it all, you borrow money from another to pay them back. And it just starts that cycle.
Right. Yeah.
And the top loan shark, the big London gangster.
And what's his name?
I thought he was Clinch. Obviously, he's not Clinch.
He's not Guy Clinch.
No, but we'll find
What was his name?
What was his name?
Who was he played by? But our own
Ted? Something? What was he just had a normal name, didn't he?
Oh, God, this is going to kill me.
Yeah, it's
no, because he had like a silly darts player name.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that's the other thing is Keith is really good at darts. He plays a lot of competitive darts in the pub and also qualifies for a darts competition.
Well, they describe this actor has shot a cameo in the crime thriller London Fields.
Because he's uncredited.
So you think it's a cameo? Do you think
it's not a cameo?
Do you think Bruce Willis in that movie we watched was a cameo?
It's a similar level to Bruce Willis in whatever the last movie we watched was.
Yeah.
But
the difference is
this one felt like this actor, famous actor, showed up to do a day or two and then stuck around longer because he ends up being in the dart competition at the end. And and the way that...
He's got a lot of scenes.
He's got more scenes than...
Some of the best scenes of the entire movie.
Chick Purchase.
That's what the character is called. All the characters have terrible names, and it's based on a book, so I'm assuming they're using the real book names.
Chick Purchase, the character is loosely based on darts legend Bobby George.
Oh,
so we all know Bobby. And actually, looking at the poster now, and it's obviously very, film noir.
Yeah.
I like
beautiful
that
poster.
Though. It's a really nice poster.
Yeah, it got me into it. But okay, so
who plays Chick Purchase?
Well, it is in fact the man who convinced the world he had scissors for fingers, Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp and Amber Heard on screen together at last. They did the Rum Diaries, which also came out in 2015. So I reckon maybe they did these in their honeymoon period when they were, when it looked like everything was bells and whistles and roses between them. They do hook up in this movie as well towards the end, but you also got to understand Amber Heard hooks up with every male character in this movie, and you don't really know why. It's not like she's angling at something for half of them. She's just doing it. She's always naked or in a robe that she has nothing on underneath, and it's just barely covering her nipples.
Oh yeah.
So she has had a premonition that she's going to die. She's told Billy Bob Thornton that she knows about this and that she's accepted it, and really seems like she has accepted it.
And she knows it's someone that was in that pub, which was called like the Black Cross or something. She knows that that's related. So when she's
been
in,
doing Black Cross drawings,
she's
or whatever.
drawing it and stuff, and so they know that it's. There's like three options for who's going to kill her in this. There's Billy Bob, there's Guy Clinch, the posh Englishman, and then there's Keith, the disgusting English Cockney gangster who owes people a lot of money. So those are the only actual like real suspects, unless it's one of those, it's a suspect we never even introduced you to until the end. That's the only other potential.
But Amber Heard and Billy Bob Thornton just accept this. There's no fighting. There's not even any sense of futility or like, oh, this is bad. It's just, this is going to happen.
Oh, this is happening.
This is happening. I don't know if it's good. I don't know if it's bad. Billy Bob Thornton is also drinking a lot of alcohol, a lot of spirits throughout this movie. He has a lot of different medicine.
So his drug dealer, what's his name? Dr. Slizzard?
He just says like he's got all these different colored pills that he's eating every day, and he just says like, I got my pills from Dr. Slizzard, which just sounds like isn't that Snoop Dogg's dealer?
Yeah, I mean,
we know that those drugs are treating some sort of sickness though from the beginning, or does he say that it's his drug dealer? Like
I think it
We assume he just has like
a drug problem.
Yeah, or he has like anxiety and medication. But we find out that he is dying of something.
He's dying.
Yes, she can feel that he's dying. And by the way, I just want to say when he finds out about all of this happening, he is spying on her from underneath her floorboards, looking up at her ass. Again, this movie, there are so many scenes of...
Here's the thing. He's living in the apartment of a very wealthy writer.
Yes.
He's living in a very nice apartment. Presumably every apartment in this building is very nice.
Yes.
But you can still look up through the floorboards and see your neighbor's hiney.
Yeah. And the weird part is she's like in her underwear getting this book down, this scrapbook she's created. And he's looking up, Billy Bob Thornton, and she looks down through the crack, and it read to me that she saw his face and then she throws the scrapbook down to cover the gap. But Mitch just thought it was just she was throwing it down. She didn't see he was there.
No.
But then immediately after, Billy Bob Thornton goes through the trash, finds that scrapbook in a dumpster, and that's how he finds out about her clairvoyancy, basically.
Well, maybe it's that the writer that actually lives in that apartment and her have an arrangement to have those floorboards just widened by that extra half centimeter, so that.
And you know what? That makes sense.
Happen.
It does track.
Yeah, that's. I mean, we've set it up enough. Spoilers for the rest of the movie. So she was at some point. Okay, so she's essentially playing the field on everyone. She's letting Billy Bob in on everything that she's doing so he can write his book, because he's never written a murder book and he thinks it'd be a real hit. And he's sending off pages.
But he has to witness the murder to be able to write it.
Oh,
because he has no imagination.
Yeah, because all he's
Like
writing is
any
the
good
word
writer.
fuck and then fuck.
We keep seeing him struggle, and he's just writing the word fuck like over and over. And he's like, I'm meant to be a writer. I should be better than this. And you're like, just from meeting all these people on day one, that should give you enough inspiration to build something. You don't need to witness a murder to write about it.
No, literally just use your imagination. And so she's using Keith to sort of play Guy Clinch while she's also playing Keith. So she's like, she knows how horny he is for her. Yeah. And she's trying to, and her thing is that she'll dress extra kind of sexy for him. But whenever she sees Guy Clinch, she always wears a white dress and plays it.
Yeah, she has her hair like tied down a bit, and she's like pretending to be a Christian virgin, like
always wearing
character.
a cross.
And she's always in trouble. She's like,
she always needs
I
his
need to
help.
sell my earrings because I don't have enough. And he's really rich, so he gives her money. She gives the money to Keith to pay his debts. I never really understood what she was doing. If she was trying to avoid getting murdered this whole time, like, is that the point of what she's doing, or is it just because she really loves doing that thing where you get a guy super horny and you're like breathing heavy in their ear and touching them slightly and like showing you're in your underwear and you're like, come and get this thing out of my underwear, but you can't touch. She keeps doing that, like teasing to Keith, who's, you know, Robert De Niro facing.
Okay.
Love.
That's gonna get me balls all busting like the London bridges right now from the nuclear war crisis.
Nikki Sixx, you're giving me penis cancer. And then she does this trick where to Guy Clinch, she makes up this story about when she was an orphan, her friend from Burma who got adopted, and she's trying to save her and get her into England. And she's like, her name is Enola Gay. And she has a little boy. Is that what it was?
She has a son that goes by Little Boy.
Goes by the name Little Boy.
Which is like,
so I turned to Morgan and Mitch and I'm like, Enola Gay is the name of the plane in World War II that dropped the nuclear bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, or at least one of them. And the bomb there was two bombs. One was called Little Boy and one was called Fat Boy, I think.
Yes.
So I'm like,
Fat Man.
So either she's like using that as inspiration to make up this completely fake story, and this guy's just so dumb he doesn't know that like famous World War II history, or it is actually the person she knows is actually named after this. Anyway, there's a point, as we predicted immediately when we talked about this, like an hour later, where he's reading like a history book or something, and he sees that Enola Gay and Little Boy are from World War II.
Yeah,
he's like, oh, she tricked me.
But we're all talking about, like, is she just making this stuff up, like in the Brady Bunch movie when Jan is pretending to have a fake boyfriend and she says, his name's George, and she sees a glass and his name is George Glass. Is she just looking around the room?
It's also the Usual Suspects ending, where Kevin
right,
Spacey's
yeah.
been telling the story, and then he realizes it's all just like on bits of the dartboard, the pin-up board behind them, and he's like, oh man, everything he used in that story was just fake.
Yeah, is she just drawing inspiration from, objects and things that she knows from past?
Well-
and then she says something about that's where I met 2 Saudi Arabian people.
Yes.
And at that
no, she tells a story about Keith is like, why were you late to this date? And she just immediately
this is a different
starts,
scene.
Yeah, she's like, you know what? You remind me. She's like, did you dress up for me?
No, this was a different scene.
The Saudi Arabia one?
Yeah.
I thought she was pretending that she says a story about how she dated a Saudi Arabian king.
Yeah, that's a different
That's
story.
the one where Billy Bob Thornton's writing it and deleting it at the same time.
Yeah, earlier on in the same scene where she's talking about the bomb, about this person that's named after the bomb, she says something about
Saudi
you pointed it
Arabians.
out. She was like,
And then 2 Saudi Arabian
yeah, she's
people
like,
walk
I
past.
had this friend from Saudi Arabia. I had 2 friends from Saudi Arabia.
I thought she just said
or
the
I was
Saudi
in-
king or something. Yeah. Or what?
Maybe
yeah.
she mentioned Saudi Arabia, and then at that moment, you
Two Saudi guys walk past, like very predominantly in the background of the scene the second she says it.
It's very odd. Not
So there's... Okay.
No, you go.
I was just going to say there's a lot of hints that what's happening isn't happening. And it doesn't really follow through on any of it. But so we just talked about this scene where Billy Bob is writing a scene, but it's literally playing out. And he's,
Changing
he's
dialogue
deleting
in
things.
it.
He's
Yeah,
changing dialogue. And so when he's sending off pieces of this novel, which he says is going to be his next great novel, he's sending them with no response to a woman named Missy,
His publisher.
his publisher, who eventually responds to him and is like, this is one-dimensional woman character, you're writing this kind of completely from the male gaze. Is this about me?
Yeah, which is the weirdest thing because we've never met this character at all. She's only a name in an email, and she's almost like, "Are you basing this on me?" And you're like, "What? What kind of publisher is like? Do you think I'm this beautiful, sexy femme fatale that's seducing everyone?"
It's actually a credit to a writer. If you can read a book and think like this character's exactly like me, then the writer's done a pretty good fucking job. If you can relate to that character.
But, well, that's the thing. I think that her point was that he's writing this character who is written like someone who doesn't respect women and has this idea of what they are. And I was like, oh, are they going to do anything with that? And no. She's just this master manipulator. She's always looking perfect, never genuine. Just will fuck you for her own purposes.
But we
Wants to
also
ruin your
we
life.
love her because we know someone's going to kill her.
That's right. And we are talking about Amber Heard's character that she plays in this movie.
Yes. So she does end up sleeping with, after a long time of teasing basically everybody, she does sleep with kind of them one by one. In fact, 2 of them like directly after each other, Keith and then Guy Clinch, one by one. And so she's just
In quick succession as well.
Yeah, we're talking
it's been
like-
building up for 45 minutes,
Yeah.
and then bam, in 10 minutes, all 3 of them down the hatch.
Oh, actually,
Down the hatch.
can we talk about that scene? Because it starts with an emergency broadcast of like
that's
nuclear
right.
war, and then he switches it to...
Did he switch it?
I thought it was.
he
He presses
like
a button on his
Okay.
controller, and then suddenly it's like it's all red still.
Yeah,
but
that was the confusing part for me. The color scheme was
It's
the
like
same.
breaking news alert dart finals, or is it?
No, it was breaking news and then sort of like a zombie-looking woman. That's what it
Oh,
looked like
that's
to
right.
me.
It's porno.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then it's
And then
a
it turns
porno.
into a porno,
Yeah.
and then Amber Heard comes in just a shirt and some lingerie and a bobby hat.
Yeah.
And then she essentially just like she's been
Seduces
teasing
him.
him the
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
movie. She lets him have a just a taste. So
So he like licks her face.
violently tries to
Yeah.
make out with her, and he gets about a second in. But this scene is just
She's
like,
got a baton.
I
thing.
think
She's got a
I
police
think
baton.
it's implied that she raped him with the baton.
Well,
no,
yeah.
she anally penetrates
Yeah.
him, but
Yeah,
he
yeah.
just
But he's into it.
definitely
She also-
into it.
yeah, I guess it's not, I
she
guess it's not
starts
rape.
the sex by like punching him in the face as well.
Yeah,
So he's
oh
got
yeah.
a
She
blood
throws
nose.
him over the whole apartment. She's just like beating this guy down.
But he's so hard up for it that he's down. And also we're cutting between the porno that he was watching, and also he'd put his hands in his pants. Like he was about to snap one off for the boys.
Now, do we know
For
why?
the boys.
Earlier in the film, we get to see into his home life. Guy Clinch, is that this guy?
No, this is Keith.
Because
Keith.
this is the problem. Guy Clinch sounds like a poor guy name, but Keith, the finisher,
the talent. Keith Talent.
Keith
The
Talent.
finisher talent. All
Yeah.
these names. We get to see in his home life, and he's just like, he's got a big beer gut. He's having a cigarette. I don't know. He's just looking. He gets a text message that says, "You're going to have to die, mate."
He gets a text from Johnny Depp, who he
Yeah.
owes all this money to, that just says, "I'm sorry, mate, but I'm going to have to kill you, mate," or something like
You're
that.
gonna have to
Yeah.
die.
And he's looking at these texts, and he's just like,
Yeah.
"Oh man, they're really after me." He's got like a wife who's a junkie.
His partner
Who's
and his
Cara
kid.
Delevigne.
They're in the other
Delevigne.
room. There's a knock at the door, and it's this British woman, and we could see the subtitles, so we could see it was Nikki, but it's meant to be
Yeah.
mysterious, and it's like, "Hello, I'm the social worker. I'm just here," and then you can hear all this sort of like background dialogue as we still see
Yeah.
him texting, and it's all like, "Do you know that it's not safe to have passive smoking?" And it's, basically
Yeah,
just
yeah.
saying like,
I've been passive smoking all my life.
the
and
wel-
I've done
the-
fine.
the
I've
wel-
done fine.
the welfare of your children is at risk here. And then he comes out and he looks up the stairs and he obviously notices Amber Heard in the very same outfit that she wore in the court proceedings
she
with Johnny
did.
Depp.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
She's got her hair done the same way. It's that white and the black blazer, white shirt, and you're just like, yeah, I've seen her wear this
Now-
in court a lot.
What does this scene mean? What does it mean?
She was just flexing. She was going down to like talk to his wife.
She's not a social worker, though,
No,
right?
no, she's totally pretending to, just so Keith would see her. And then he goes back to her house and he's like, "You shouldn't have done that," remember? And it just
Yeah.
like keeps their thing going. But Cara Delevigne in this is playing basically like a junkie kind of like low class mother. She's smoking. She's like coming off heroin or whatever. And me and Mitchell, just before we watched the movie, we're talking about how we saw this footage of her at the airport with no shoes on, just pacing around and like scratching and dropping her phone, picks it up, drops it again, playing with this small dog that's running around.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
And we're like, she seems like she might be coming off some hard drugs in real life. And then, she plays the role pretty well.
Well, apparently, and allegedly, she was one of the people to have like threesomes with her and like was it Elon Musk or James
Amber Heard
Franco
and stuff,
and shit like that.
So they're all in it together. Like Johnny Depp, Cara Delevigne, and Amber Heard are all in this movie.
This whole movie almost
Yeah.
seems like a premonition, if you ask me. But even before we get to those three quick succession sex scenes, I think there's the hallucination that Billy Bob Thornton
yeah.
has.
Oh, yeah.
So he starts tripping. Like when he looks at pictures on the walls, he sees himself in them, and like the sky sort of opens a little bit sometimes. But then he's taken all his pills. He's still drinking his alcohol, and he's watching TV. And I don't even know how to describe what's on the telly there, but it's six.
It's like
It's a
right.
band
that's a song about like
It's like an a cappella
cosmic
song,
mathematics.
about molecules and about
Yeah,
the
yeah.
nature of like life
Motion
and
stuff,
how
yeah.
life is born and
But
how
their
it
heads
leaves.
are like 3D squares. They're kind of in space. They're CGI'd. And it just reminded me of like the Dissociatives, the band with
Yeah.
Paul Mac or something like that. It's
Yeah.
like cartoony and weird, but they're singing like a barbershop 6-piece harmony.
No other music there. Like maybe some pads, but there's no percussion or
Yeah.
string instruments or anything. It's just
no.
very weird. And then he looks back again, and his face is on all of the faces instead. But that is definitely the most baffling moment.
Yeah.
That was a highlight. I fucking loved that.
And
Man, I
overall,
fucking love this
the movie
movie.
started off, it felt like a Guy Ritchie movie. It's like London gangsters, and it was fast paced, and there's all these like weird cuts to things and narration. They're telling the story, but it definitely falls apart the longer it goes on.
Yeah.
But it's still kind of interesting enough to hold your gaze the whole time. It doesn't really make sense, and it's obvious that this movie is a train wreck. And I wanted to quickly talk about the Wikipedia page where it has a section on legal issues. So we were like, this movie got made when obviously Amber Heard and Johnny Depp were together, but what happened? Why did it take 3 years to get released? And I'm just going to read this verbatim. So I've gone to Wikipedia. And the movie's called London Fields. In September 2015, the film was pulled from the Toronto International Film Festival after the director Matthew Cullen filed a lawsuit against the film's producers for fraud, failing to pay him, and taking away the final cut. The producers responded to the lawsuit stating, "The timing and the content of the director's lawsuit shows that it is a publicity stunt. The filing of his complaint violates the arbitration provisions of his own guild, the DGA," because you're not allowed to they're not allowed to take your name off it under the Director Guild rules if you did direct it. Sadly, Matthew cannot deal with the fact that he does not control the final cut of the movie. He was given 2 deadlines to deliver a director's cut and missed both. His guild has rules for withdrawing his name from the picture, and he missed those deadlines. The production company will vigorously oppose. So he was trying to get his name off it. He was like, he knew it was a train wreck, didn't like what they were doing with it. They counterclaimed him for breach of contract, saying they terminated his formal editing rights and notified the Directors Guild of America when the film was $2 million over budget and late for delivery. And they accused him of violating his agreement with them and DGA rules by also working on a music video during his time editing it. He's a real big music video director. So he did Katy Perry's Smile. That was one of the ones he did. He did Meghan Trainor and Nicki Minaj's song "Nice to Meet Ya."
Oh God,
I
don't know these songs.
He did like a bunch of Katy Perry. There's a song called "Juicy." There's a song called "Chained to the Rhythm," and he also did "California Girls" with Snoop Dogg. So
I know that one.
he did "Boom Boom Pow" for the Black Eyed Peas. So he's like a music video director, and then obviously
I can tell now. Yeah,
you can tell in the style.
Yeah,
for sure.
okay. With Boom Boom Power, because I remember that one. That had all the what do you call it?
Is this the one in the spaceship?
No, it was in that wave where they were just doing like oh God, they were all in like sound waves.
Oh yeah,
like that's how they.
He
were
also did
visualized.
Weezer "Pork and Beans."
Oh,
So-
the meme one. The hottest memes of 2006.
So he did like a bunch of big music videos, and obviously in this movie it went bad. They also ended up suing Amber Heard, the producers did, in November 2016, saying that Heard and Cullen, the director, made unauthorized changes to the film script and failed to finish voiceover work. She countersued, claiming they violated a nudity clause in her contract by filming scenes with a body double and digitally replacing the double's face with hers.
What?
So,
Really?
yeah, and they reached a settlement in 2018. So the film couldn't come out until all this stuff was done. So there was one scene where she disrobed and you saw her butt and she walked away. I think that wasn't her.
Oh,
Very interesting.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Hey, look, if I was Amber Heard, I wouldn't be complaining about being replaced by whoever that woman was. She was a beautiful woman.
Yeah.
Now let's get on to the sex scene. So, in quick succession, we have the
Bashing scene with
bashing
Keith.
scene with Keith,
And we were trying to say it's juxtaposed
Anal
with the
penetration.
porno that he's watching,
Yeah.
where like a character is like about to penetrate someone anally with like a dildo or something, and then he's having that happen to him, but he's loving it as well as
Yeah.
getting bashed.
Yeah, because afterwards he's like, "Oh, I won't wash my cockle for a week."
That's right,
Or
because
something
Guy
like
Clinch
that.
comes in right after this, and she's already in
Yeah.
her white shirt. She's already changing character,
Yeah,
essentially.
yeah.
and he's already had it revealed that
She's with Keith as well.
Yeah.
And also Keith and Guy Clinch both have their own wives that they don't really care about.
Mm-hmm.
But so he runs in and he's like, "Oh, hi." And Keith is like, "Oh, just leaving, mate." Yeah. And he's just got dressed. And so Guy Clinch is like, does he come here often? And then she's like, "Oh, yeah, he does. He can't read. I'm teaching him how to read. I gave him a book. He's borderline illiterate." And she's pretending to be
He
her
used
like
that book to cover his erection last time that they bumped into each other at the
Yeah.
apartment. So very clever.
Yeah, and so she's all buttoned
Wuthering
up now,
Heights.
and she's saying like,
Rona
yeah,
Cross.
I'm yeah, and then she's like, anyway, do you want to finally? And they kiss passionately, and they go to the bed.
Well, it
And-
should be said as well that he's like, "Is there anything going on between you two?" And
Does he ever
she
try to
looks
fuck
harassed.
you?
Yeah, she's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Did you guys ever try to fuck?" And then she like grabs her chest in this way of like, "I can't believe what you've just said," but she's
Yeah.
grabbing her chest, which is open, like her shirt is open, and there's just
and
been
she's
another
holding
man.
her Christian cross as
Yeah,
well.
and there's just been another man in the room remarking about how he has to clean his cock or something. He's not going to clean his cock. Clearly, they've just had sex.
Yeah, but she convinces him that they didn't do anything, and then they go to bed together. And like right before they get into the bed, and it's very romantic and like old English style sex. And she's like, "I just want you to know it's my first time." And he's like, "Oh, really?
I'm a virgin.
Yeah." And then she's like, "Can I touch it?"
Yeah, that's right.
It's like a
And then he
rock.
says, "Yes, please." Yeah.
"Oh yeah,"
Yes, please. Indubitably so, good lass.
and then he's like, "Oh my god."
Yeah, that's right. He does. He puts his penis in, and he's like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah. And I thought that was him being like,
Next time I have sex, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to be, "Oh my god!"
well, I think
By
we'll be
Her
waiting for a long
Majesty's
time,
breast.
Morgan.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah. Anyway, he's about, like they're thrusting away. He's about to relieve himself of all his manly pleasures. And then she goes, "Oh, sorry, just before, I need
you to do something for me." He's like,
know
"Oh,
what
do you want me to leave my wife?"
Yeah, you want me to leave my wife? She's like, "No, I think you should tell her, like right now. I think you need to go and tell her what we're doing because you are still married." And I guess in the throes of passion, there's that point where you lose all inhibitions, and a woman can make you do anything because you just want to come. So if they were like, I want you to give me $10,000, you're like, yes, just let me, I'll do whatever you want. That's basically what happens. He just is like, okay, I'll walk out here right now and go tell my wife. I don't even know if he finishes or not.
No, I don't think he does.
Yeah, which is, you got to be so hard up to be at the point of orgasm and then still be like, I'll do whatever you want. I'll go tell my wife that I'm doing this.
So after this sex scene, is that also the scene where Keith Talent gets his payout money for
yeah, it happens real soon after that.
Yeah. So, and that was one of my favorite scenes. He comes out into the rain. He's got his wad of cash, and he finds a tarp and he wears it like a cape.
Oh yeah.
What's that Dire Straits song that plays?
Money for nothing.
Money for nothing.
Oh,
plays?
and it goes full singing in the rain.
Yeah,
He's just dancing, getting
He's like,
soaked.
He's got the money, and then a combi van rocks up, and they're like, "You look like a ballerina," and they pull him in, and John Depp is there.
John Depp and his five weird gangsters.
Can I say
friends.
in the background, one of the gangsters is Gemma Chan, who has like maybe 3 lines in the movie and is completely like a throwaway, but she's a pretty big actress.
Yeah.
Like,
She in Star Wars in The Last Jedi?
No, she's in Eternals.
Oh yes,
as and she's also in Captain Marvel as a blue woman.
yeah.
So just quickly as well, they went right into her going onto the roof because apparently that's where her and Billy Bob Thornton meet up. It's kind of like a Secret Life of Us. Like, we're on the roof.
And the roof looks exactly like the roof in the room when he goes, I did not hit her. I did not.
Oh, hi, Mark.
That's very hard to remember as well. Like, what did they actually talk about in that scene?
I don't know. But
they
she
have sex.
seduces him.
Oh, right. He says, I can't. And she's like, yeah, but I can.
She's just like, we've got to do it at least once. And he's like, I guess I'm dying. So then they have sex. And then that guy gets kidnapped. I'm aware at this point we haven't discussed at all the fact that there are darts being played all throughout this movie.
Yeah.
Right.
And we're about to get to a very important dart sequence between Johnny Depp and
from the first Black Cross
the
bar
finisher.
scene, it's established that Keith Talent is an excellent dart player.
Yeah, but we don't know that Johnny Depp also plays darts at this point.
And will be in the finals against Keith.
Well, so in the van, he has like a handkerchief that's the Union Jack, and he's pouring this stuff onto it, which I don't know, amyl nitrate or whatever that is. And it's this weird drugged out scene where his eyes are changing size.
It's essentially the scene in Batman Begins where Scarecrow drugs the guy and then he's like, well, what are you afraid of? And the face goes like even scarier.
They're doing this bulge effect to Johnny Depp's eyes, and it's real similar to when Guardians of the Galaxy 2, when they go through, they do like 50 jumps and they're like, you're not meant to jump that far, and it's just like distorting their faces and be like, ugh.
Yeah.
And anyway, Johnny Depp is like about to
he's giving him the money,
hammer a huge nail into him.
hammer a stake into his heart.
But gives him the 60 grand, which is more than he owes. But then while he's tripping out on this ether or whatever, they're hugging, and then Johnny Depp's like, I'm still going to kill you.
Yeah.
And we're left on a cliffhanger there. We cut back to the sex scene with Billy Bob Thornton and Amber Heard, and then we cut to
the big darts
competition. This isn't even the finale. This is a different darts competition.
Yeah.
There are several darts
There are
competitions.
two separate darts
I don't even
competitions.
have time to go into the darts competition.
No.
There's just tons of shitty green screen of people throwing darts over footage of like a real darts competition.
Yeah.
This whole sequence is cobbled together. Half of it's shot in like an empty warehouse with a fake bar that they've created. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't mean anything. It goes nowhere.
It's just to get one over on Keith Talent, to get him almost where he wants to be when he wins the first one. And in the second one, it's just Johnny Depp is there and he's like just being real pervy on Amber Heard and like licking her and shit. And
then he gets it.
Yeah.
Johnny, like both of the guys are like, hey, do you want to leave with me?
She's
And then
coming
she
home
just-
with me.
Yeah.
She's like,
she just
no.
makes out with Johnny Depp, and you go, that relationship's going to end well. I can tell. Let's give this movie a rating out of 10. Let's wrap it up.
Okay, all
Mitch,
right.
what do you think?
This is my favorite of any of the movies that we've done. This beats Problem Child. This beats Highlander 2. It had every element of what I wanted out of these movies. It was like, it wasn't boring. It was everything that was trying to be earnest fell flat. There was like bizarre choices. The dinosaur boy. It was, and then it was just like unabashedly horny the entire time.
So your highest rating is Highlander 2 as an 8. Does this top that?
This tops that. This is a I was going to say this is a 10. Okay, but on the scale of this.
Yes.
This is the best truly rotten film you could get, basically. This is everything.
This is as good as it's going to get. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say, let's go, just to leave room, 9.9. Mm-hmm. 9.9.
A lot of room you've left. Mm-hmm. All right, Morgan, you did miss about 12 minutes of this movie, but we caught you up and you see those scenes again anyway. So what do you think?
As a psychological thriller, this had that element of like, you're always guessing what's going on here. They're showing shots of like planes flying above the city that seems historical. But also maybe they're going to drop bombs. Maybe that's how she dies. And is Billy Bob Thornton tripping out? Is he going to kill her? I don't know what's happening, but there's enough high quality actors and actually not bad performances from. I thought Amber Heard was actually a pretty good performer in this.
She got nominated for a Razzie.
This was bad.
I for the role that she was playing, I thought it was. I didn't think it required much of her. I think she ticked the boxes.
She's playing a one-dimensional vapid character.
I think it ticked those boxes. And that guy's face, the guy who was playing the finisher, Mr. Talent.
Keith Talent.
Yeah, there's just enough of that and the little dinosaur kid and Billy Bob tripping out and like the weird effects on the sky, that it is a really engaging movie. And all those themes and we haven't even gotten to what happens at the very end of the movie when she does. We didn't even talk about how she dies.
Can we quickly address that? All right.
Give us a score and tell us how she dies.
Okay. I'm going to give it a pretty high rating as well. I think I'm going to give this a 9.2.
Yeah.
And what happens is after she's had sex with all of them and then she's kissed Johnny Depp, Guy Clinch is walking down the street. He's all upset. He gets into the car that Billy Bob Thornton's already in. He's got a spanner in his hand. He talks to Billy Bob Thornton about how upset he is. Then he leaves. Then Amber Heard walks down the street. She gets in the car. She's crying for some reason. I guess because she knows it's the day of her death.
Yeah, she's wearing the dress and she's seen the car.
She looked in the mirror and she's like, "This is the dress that I wear when I die." It's like, that's totally put it on that's in your control.
Just don't put it on.
She hands him, or he's already got the spanner, and Billy Bob Thornton whacks her.
She asks for it.
She says, "Do it." She says, "Do it." And then
he just cracks her in the head once with a spanner, and then one extra big one.
One extra. He drags her upstairs, and then he dies as well.
He takes his final pill, which is always
the death pill.
Killing.
Oh, that's right. He has all these pills. Yeah. One of them is like, "Ooh, this doesn't taste nice." Vicious.
Yeah.
He takes his death pill, and at that moment,
he also knows he needs to do this to finish the story. That he's writing.
Right. And so then he finishes the story, and then he prints it all off, and then he puts the manuscript on their dead bodies. We see sort of a time lapse. The color changes in the apartment.
Yeah.
Maybe it might just be one night. Perfect timing for the actual writer who owns this apartment to return home and find their dead body. And we all knew what was going to happen. He walks over to he's already smoking a cigarette because this is a film noir.
We know he's a real asshole as well.
Yeah,
he's really into like writing and getting a good story.
Yeah, he walks over, he picks up the manuscript, walks back into his writing room and starts reading the manuscript, and that's the end of the movie. But then we get some dialogue over the credits, which is just
him on a TV interview promoting his new book.
Yeah, and he's claiming that he wrote this book.
Yeah, he reads an excerpt from it.
He reads one sentence, which is neither good nor bad.
And then it cuts to he's talking about the writing process, and he's like, blah blah blah, and then it does a jump cut to a TV, and it does like a bad static effect, cuts to him looking down the barrel of the camera. It's a freeze frame
on static. It's a static shot of static.
Yeah. And then he's looking down the barrel of the camera on this TV interview show, and he just goes, "Buy the book."
Yeah, he says, "Buy the book." And then it cuts to Mr. Talent in bed with his wife. He goes, "All right." And that's the end of the movie.
Yeah, all right then.
Smash cuts away from him. Like the audio hasn't quite finished of him saying, "All right." And it cuts away to the credits. It was the weirdest ending.
It's like the SD card ran out on the camera.
Yeah. And also, this is based on a book. So when he looks down the barrel and just goes, "Buy the book," you're like, is it the filmmaker saying, "We know we fucked this movie"? The book was actually quite good.
Buy the book. What do you reckon, Declan?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. All these movies start good, always 10 minutes. You're like, what's so bad about this? But they always lose it.
They were slow down.
This definitely
the pace was good.
Pace was great, not boring.
But it was fun. It was stupid.
Very fun.
Amber Heard, I don't know if she did a good performance. She did fine. I see why people were in love with her. Like she's like super attractive in this movie, And and then you just know that it's interesting to watch now, knowing what happens to all these people. Cara Delevigne, Amber Heard, and Johnny Depp all together, going to court and ruining each other's lives. So I give it a pretty high rating as well. I think I'm going to go like a 7.1. For these movies, it was one of the better ones, and I had a good time. We were laughing out loud. The end, like, to the final moment, we were like, "What? That rocks!" Just buy the book. All right, cut. Yeah. So good, so stupid.
I don't think my rating would have changed if I watched this by myself either.
Yeah.
I think it's the sort of movie I would have been watching and I would have been like, oh my God, I wish we were watching this together so we could talk about it right now. Yeah. Because it just had so many of those moments.
It was amazing. It was far and away the best. And there's still things that we haven't talked about, so
we don't have time.
Watch it.
Go and watch it.
That's
buy the book.
Buy
the
Hard
book.
recommend.
I paid $5 to watch it in HD on the YouTube Google store, so it's worth it. And we'll see you next time for the next Truly Rotten Potato.